important intro or any clue what we're doing. We probably shouldn't tell them how like unprofessional and amateur we are.
Like that it's sitting on a cardboard box right now.
Yeah, that's top secret. We'll edit that part out. My name is Charles Fillmore. Sitting to the left of me is Zach Tussing. And
did you have anything else, or was that it?
Thank you for listening, and have a good evening or morning.
Yeah, so this is going to be more of like a Nintendo podcast. We both have a big passion for all things Nintendo. So
I also have a baby on my lap, so I have a big passion for baby. If you hear any noises, any strange cries or sighs, that's coming from her. Just we'll edit out.
I don't know how to transition
spaces.
out of that.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
all right, so I guess we'll start with what we're playing currently. What have you been playing recently?
Well, you've been letting me borrow the new Metroid game.
The new quote unquote Metroid game.
The new Nintendo title under the Metroid license. And it is, well, it's a game for the 3DS. It's called Metroid Federation Force.
Metroid Prime.
Metroid Prime Federation Force. So it's, I guess it kind of follows the events of the Prime trilogy, is what I haven't gotten very far.
Yeah, it takes place after Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. So this is like Phazon has been destroyed, and now I'm not sure exactly. It doesn't really do a good job setting all that stuff up, but you don't need it.
The impression I get is that it's the Federation, the Galactic Space Federation of Space Peace is they're essentially cleaning up the aftermath of the Phazon incident, is the impression I get.
Yeah, like the story trailers made it sound like this was like the Federation putting together the Federation Force in order to go after the remaining space pirates, but then the story doesn't really start with that. It's kind of like the pirates get introduced later as like, oh, there are pirates, rather than like that we're out here hunting them down. So that seemed a bit weird. Yeah.
I have to go ahead and say I haven't had a lot of time. We just moved into a new apartment, so I haven't had a lot of time to play it. I haven't gotten very far. But in the time that I have had to play it, I have some opinions. I guess, first of all, how do you feel about the controls?
It was weird going back to, they feel very much like the original GameCube games.
Mm-hmm.
So there isn't, even though like it uses the C-stick to look around, you have to hold the shoulder button, the R button, to then use the circle pad, the C-stick on the new 3DS to look around. So it's not a dual stick game. It still uses the like tank controls with the lock on. I mean,
right. I pretty quickly jumped into the settings to see if there was a way I could customize the controls. And you really only have like two options.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is more like, it's closer to the GameCube version. The second one is more like a traditional dual stick, like first person shooter. You can use the C-stick to actually control, and you can adjust the sensitivity of that. But no matter how high I set it, it always felt like I was like fighting with the controls to move around.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. Like immediately after I started playing the game, I went into the menus, looked for the control schemes, and switched it over to the dual stick style, and hated it, and went back to the motion controlled R button.
Yeah, that's the one I've kind of stuck with. It also helps that I figured out you don't have to hold L and R in order to strafe and also look around. You can just hold R and it'll have the same effect.
Yeah.
L is just the lock on.
And I think it's worth pointing out that if you're playing in an original 3DS or an XL, anything besides the new 3DS with the face tracking 3D, this isn't one you're going to put the 3D on for, because you're using the system itself to look around, the gyroscope, so you lose the 3D effect pretty quickly unless you're playing on a new 3DS.
Or you can maintain a constant distance from your face.
Or you can move your whole head around with it, but who wants to do that?
Yeah, that. I have the new 3DS. I've been playing with that one, and I've had the 3D on more often than not. So I do like the. I feel like I can see more, actually, with the 3D on than with the 3D off. But I don't know if it's just my brain tricking me into thinking that.
Yeah, I played with it on almost the entire time except for the menus. This is one of those games that I think actually does benefit from the 3D. Most of them I play 2D, but this one was an exception.
It just, I feel like it gives a better sense of space, like in game. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. Level. How do you? What did you think of like the levels? Like the layout and the design.
So you haven't really gotten that far, so I think it does actually get better. The first few missions are pretty generic. So there are some very interesting missions. There's one where you actually get out of the mech and you have to go through like a platforming stealth mission on foot.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, there's one. There are like a few different like turret missions where you have to ride on like a hover train and fend off pirates. So there's actually quite a bit. Like you're really never doing the same thing twice.
Okay, that's interesting. I thought it was just the mech the whole time. The not being Samus, that doesn't really bother me so much. Like the only thing I think that bothers me is that they titled it as a Metroid game, but we'll get into that in a bit, I guess. The thing that stuck out to me really quickly was that this feels more like a self-condensed or self-contained Zelda than a Metroid. Because it feels like you're going through, I guess, kind of not necessarily standard, but what feel like traditional Zelda-esque puzzles. There are the ball puzzles and whatnot. Like each mission, it has kind of its own challenge, and that's one thing that kind of stuck out to me. It feels more like a Zelda dungeon exploration type deal than a Metroid title.
I didn't really think that, but I guess I can see that, especially for the early missions.
It's like, I think the thing it feels off because it's a Metroid game. It doesn't feel like one, because in Metroid the whole point is that you're in like one very very large location with like several like smaller rooms inside of it, just different areas to explore, and as you go through you find power-ups and you start getting stronger. You find tools and abilities that help you to get farther, reach places that you haven't. With this, you don't get that. You're dropped into individual little boxes with a single puzzle that you have to solve.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it doesn't feel like a Metroid game.
Which I think is okay, just given that this is a spin-off. Like, there are definitely nods to the series. Just like there are times that it actually does look like you're playing Metroid Prime, just with a hideous art style. Yeah.
The art, honestly, I'm not too thrown off by the art style. The weirdest thing, honestly, is the gigantic head of the guy who talks to you.
The chibi look of the characters is ridiculous, and something you don't really get from the trailers is the environments look really good. They look really sharp. It really stands in like stark contrast to the character models in the game.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know, did you have similar?
Yeah, it does feel kind of weird because like there are these very detailed environments. And then there's like a very stylized cartoon grasshopper that pops out of the ground.
Yeah.
And it feels like it wants to be taken seriously, but it's I can't I can't think of the it wants to be taken seriously, but it just can't. I mean, I don't know if they expound more on the whole Phazon incident in this game, but just from the get go, I if they, I mean, I don't. There's not a lot to really tie this to the last three games.
Yeah, and I will say this: you haven't gotten far enough, but throughout the game, they actually bring Samus in. And so, like, in between missions, you'll get reports that Samus is helping you on this case. She's conveniently never on the same planet you are. You see her, like, projected up on the, like, pre-mission status and whatnot. And at one point, there's even a boss battle where, like, you destroy this giant monster that's, like, coming towards one of your outposts. And, like, you think the mission's over, the cutscene happens, your characters are walking away, and then it starts to get back up, and Samus comes in her Metroid Prime 3 ship and blows it up, and then flies off. I really don't think Samus needed to be in this game. Like, this, I think it kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, like she could. It could be the sort of thing where like she is like she's a morale point. Like people look up to her.
Yeah.
But unless she has like a major like point like in like a major character role in the game, there's not a lot of a reason for her to be there.
Yeah, there really isn't. And it makes the Federation seem incompetent that even in this story about them, they still need Samus to come in and save them at points. And
yeah. And it's like, because when I remember playing, like the Federation was they were I think kind of mentioned in logs in Prime, and then in Prime 2, they had a larger role because like you actually like admittedly they were all like zombies, but you saw some of them. There was actually a pretty neat cutscene that like shows what happened.
Yeah.
In that one.
Yeah, that intro to Prime 2 is amazing.
But you never really got the sense that they were incompetent. The third one, I kind of felt like they were like not really like, I don't know, like they didn't really have a whole lot of.
They were just kind of there, like their own ship gets invaded in the intro to the game, and they can't even fend them off. They really rely on Samus to.
And this game doesn't really help sell it on like, no, we're cool too.
Yeah.
It feels exactly like that. It's like, no, see, I promise I'm cool. See, I got my toy blaster and I'm a big kid now.
Yeah, this feels like a knee-jerk reaction to the fans' outcry at E3 2015 when they're like, "Where's Samus? We can't do a Metroid game without Samus." And then they're like, "All right, we'll put Samus in there." And there's really no reason.
We'll give you, if you have the Samus amiibo, you can unlock the Samus paint job. We won't let you play as Samus. Can you unlock like a Samus looking mech?
No. I mean, that's the only thing. The one thing, there is a power-up that feels like something taken straight from Ratchet and Clank, where you throw this like decoy on the ground to avoid fire, and it's like a really good rendering of Samus, like her upper half. And it do you remember that weapon from
the decoy glove?
Yeah, it was like that, except it's Samus, and it's just like one more thing. Just I don't know why it's there. It seems ridiculous.
I don't know. I just don't know.
And also, this is a problem I had with the game. It's not a game-breaking thing, but it's really weird. The scale. So this is like a mech game, but everything seems the same size as the giant mechs that you're in. Mm-hmm. Did you really come across that? Did you find that weird?
You know, I'd never really considered that.
Like the ice gamers are as big as the people. And when you're playing the other Metroid games, like they're about they come up to her knees, maybe Samus's knees.
Yeah.
And in this game, they're just as big as the weird chibi humans.
Yeah, like they're as big as you are.
Yeah, like
in your mech.
The plants should look really small. The enemies, there should be like really small enemies. Everything looks the same size. Like if you didn't know this was a mech game, you couldn't tell from the gameplay.
Right. So yeah, we kind of had like a little break for like a good few hours.
Yeah, with some crazy stuff happening in between.
Yeah. Like, brake lines breaking and things like that. But we're back now. We're gonna kind of give our closing thoughts. You had one more point you wanted to.
Yeah. So around, I think it was mission 11. Like I was playing through the entire game single player, and it was, it was a decent experience. I didn't have any friends who bought this game, so I didn't really have any other options besides playing online.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Don't mind her.
yeah, we're recording with a baby, so
Yeah, she's still with us. Say hi. Her name's Clover. Send all your fan art to clover.baby.gov. So mission 11.
Yeah, so I hit like a huge difficulty wall where the game really transitioned to team-based missions, and I'm not sure the game should have stayed single player at that point. I replayed a mission probably 5 different times, and it was just impossible. There's mission 11, you have to go through a fairly generic level, but it ends with you having to protect some uplink, and you just get overwhelmed, and it's very clear that this was a like co-op mission.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's way too many enemies shooting at you, doing melee damage, and then like just every level from that point on gets like really intense for single player and downright impossible at times. So
Yeah.
at that point I had to rely on playing online, and no one is playing this game as you might imagine. So you just have to pick a level and just wait for someone to join you. I mean, I would just like do other things and just have my 3DS open for someone to eventually pop up.
Oh, that's
So
annoying.
and then you have to get someone who's competent too, and you don't really know until you get to that point. But
yeah, they're probably just as desperate for you to be on as you
Yeah.
are for them to be on.
yeah, I mean, there's only ever about that I could see like 12 people on at a time. So there's not a community for this game. Yeah, I just want to emphasize globally.
Oh man, that's awful.
Yeah, so I mean, I forget how many hours my file says I put into it, but most of that is waiting for someone to join.
Oh,
So
okay. Could see, like, I was wondering about that. Like, I saw you put, like, I don't know, maybe like 51 hours or something into it.
yeah, that
And
was
I was
not,
like, oh gosh, that seems like a pretty robust campaign.
yeah. Yeah, and I think it was mission 13. I did get through it on my own, and I consider that to be one of my greatest gaming achievements of all time, because this was clearly a co-op mission. You have like 3 artifacts that are flying through a maze, and then you have to shoot them down and then slowly carry them to the goal. And every time you pick up one of the artifacts, you get attacked by invisible troopers.
Oh.
And so if you let go of the ball, the artifact, like in 5 seconds, it starts running around again. But like the pirates that are attacking you takes a bunch of hit points. So it's like a whole game between keeping the artifact, sitting on the ground, and destroying the pirates that are attacking you. Yeah, it took me about 38 minutes to do that mission, and par for the course was like 9. So, but I was just determined to get through that thing. So, yeah, there's definitely a difficulty wall that pops up, and you really just need to have either a friend willing to play with you, or you need online internet connection.
Yeah. Truly, the heart and soul of Metroid style games is co-op. It really gets that sense of isolation.
Yeah,
pumping.
because I think the game is better in single player, to be quite honest. It's because it reminds me of the old school Metroid Prime games. It's just there are points that you absolutely need other players for. So,
Right.
You didn't play too much, so any closing thoughts?
I'm cautiously optimistic for the rest of my playthrough.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it gets to the point where like I'm closing it out of frustration more often than I am, if I'm like opting to play something else instead of it, then I think I don't know if I'm gonna finish it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make a concerted effort to.
Well,
try.
and until you get internet here in the apartment, I don't think you're going to get past uplink.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know that anyone here locally has 3DS. Right now, you're the closest person to me, and then you're going to go home.
Yeah, and there isn't download play. That's worth noting.
Oh, that's
So only for Blast Ball, which is a really generic and boring minigame that comes with it. So.
Good times for everyone.
All right, so I guess we should transition to the news then.
The news.
So news for this week. Did you see the Rio 2016 closing ceremony?
I did not see it. I hear tell Mario made an appearance.
Yeah, so like they did a video where their Prime Minister Shinzo Abe like put on a Mario cap with the Tokyo label on it.
Okay.
And he turned into Mario. And then he went through a warp pipe and it burrowed through the core of the Earth to Rio. And then the Prime Minister actually came out of a giant warp pipe with a Mario hat on stage at Rio.
Oh, like this all happened live?
Yeah,
Or?
yeah. I mean, it was a video that transitioned to him actually being there. So
the Prime Minister jumps out of a warp pipe in Rio.
yes,
And he is.
well, it was like an elevator pushing him up out of it. So.
Well, I mean, because that's how the pipes work, though.
Yeah,
That's how he manages to like float out of them.
that's just crazy.
Why?
Though.
That's
I mean,
my first question. Why was this? Why did this?
Well, like for the closing ceremony, they always want to show like a lot of the next country's culture. So, and that's I guess them saying that that Nintendo is a big part of their culture. So, I just thought that was very interesting.
That's cool. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, it's really neat. Very strange, but it's very Japanese. So, just interesting that the Prime Minister would do that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Moving on, Dragon Quest XI is coming to NX. It's been confirmed. So.
Now, which one is that? Because I know I've been seeing a lot for Dragon Quest VII, which
is a remake coming to 3DS.
What is Dragon
11
Quest
is
11?
the upcoming Dragon Quest game. So it's coming out on PS4, probably Xbox One, and now NX. So
Okay.
and it looks gorgeous. I don't know if you've seen video or screenshots.
The only thing I've seen about it is that they're like it's possible that there's going to be like two different. There's going to be like the classic, like pixelated. Top down.
Yeah, there's a 3DS version of it. I forgot to mention that. So it's coming to like PS4 and 3DS.
Okay.
And on 3DS, it's like the top screen is the kind of lower textured 3D models.
Right.
And then the touchscreen is like the 16-bit overhead, like Super Famicom look.
Right.
Which is really interesting. And they run at the same time, or at least they have in the demos that they've showed. So
I'm interested to see how that like works, how that plays out.
yeah.
But I'm excited for that. I think I'm maybe more excited for 7 because I've been seeing more about it. Like I don't know, something about the art style and just the RPG like feel to it.
Yeah, they are very much like. I mean, the original Dragon Quest is the thing that really kicked off console RPGs. So,
I don't know. It just looks so nice and like so.
Yeah, it seems really good. I've played the first 3 and then I've played 9. I just jumped to the 9th one on DS. That game was fantastic. Probably my 3rd favorite DS game. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it on DQ11. So Nintendo's holding a Nindies at Night event at PAX this year, and to kick that off, they released a video called the Nindies Summer Jam that starts on September 1st.
The end of summer.
Yeah, I mean, early September is technically still summer, but everyone's back in school at that point. Anyone who gets
summer's
over.
off,
so
okay,
yeah.
so it might still be warm out, but summer's over.
Yeah, you have like the last few cookouts, and I don't know what, and like the games they're talking about go all the way into 2017. So
maybe they go into next summer.
well, they said Q1, so that's going to be January through March.
That's if you think about it, that's very, very late summer. in some respects, so late that it got cold.
Yeah. So what did you think of the lineup though that they showed?
I can't remember all of the titles, but there were a lot that just like they only showed like a couple seconds of gameplay for each one, but there were a lot that looked really cool. One that caught my eye in particular was, I think, the Gurumin World 3D or something.
Yeah, I don't have that written down, unfortunately. It's like a monstrous adventure, Gurumin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was out on, I think it's out on Steam, and I know it's out on PSP already, and I don't know anything about this game. It was just like a bunch of side-scrolling, great-looking side-scrolling games, but the usual indie fare followed by this like strange, I don't know what it was. Was it an action RPG, a platformer?
Yeah, kind of. It made me think of like Ocarina of Time. And
Yeah.
like
But it had kind of like a Ape Escape look to it, though, like the art style.
uh-huh.
I don't know, it was very interesting looking. Obviously we need to do more
Yeah.
research on that.
It looked like it could be, and this is like, you know, I guess my dream game, but it could be like the Banjo-Kazooie Legend of Zelda Super Mario 64 RPG that we need.
I like how you didn't know how to end that statement. It just kept going.
I figured if I just named some games that people like, then I would sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So the first 5 titles that they're releasing every Thursday starting on September 1st, you get a 10% discount each week.
Mm-hmm.
So
what are they releasing?
so the first week is Axiom Verge, which comes out September 1st,
Okay.
which I'm very excited about, considering that we don't have a real Metroid to play. This has been out on PS4, Vita, and Steam for quite some time.
Right.
Almost a whole year, I think.
Yeah.
But
I remember when it came out, I really wanted to get it, but I just, like, it had just come out, and then I think the Steam sale started. It might have been the winter sale, and it wasn't discounted enough to where I could justify adding it to my shopping list.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit expensive for a indie game. It's $19.99. At least it is on the eShop. But
I mean, if you could kind of justify that though.
yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any score for this game that's been under a 9.0, so which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, so I think I might just have to set aside $20 and
Yeah.
sometime and get it, try it out.
Yeah, I might get it the first week since it'll be $18.
Now, is that coming out just on the Wii U, or is that?
It's not coming to 3DS, and I'm not sure why. It doesn't look like anything the 3DS couldn't handle, but it does. Like, I've seen in the trailer some of the boss battles, it really zooms out, so it might just be that the 3DS doesn't have the resolution.
That would definitely kill it.
Because some of the bosses are so big that the camera actually zooms out for them. So, and then on the 8th is Jotun, I don't know how to say that, Valhalla Edition. So it's like a Norse overhead 3D adventure thing.
Oh yeah, that one looked really good.
Yeah, all the bosses look gorgeous, all hand drawn. Yeah, so, and then on the 15th is Noitu Love Devolution.
It just sounds like a bunch of like nonsense words.
I don't know what this is. I saw, again, like 7 seconds of it. Looks interesting.
So
Don't really have anything else about it.
So if you had to if you had to make hazard a guess, like cobble together everything you know, and compare that against what you've seen, what kind of game does it look like?
It looks a bit like Mega Man, or maybe more of like Gunvolt, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It looks like a crazy 2D action shooter. They mostly showed boss battles, so I don't know if it's like a boss run game or if it's an actual side-scrolling platformer. I really don't know anything about this game, clearly, so...
I don't even remember what it was like in the trailer.
Yeah. And then on the 22nd is Severed.
So I found out about Severed a while back. I had just gotten into Guacamelee, which is a fantastic game.
Yeah, if you haven't played that, it's on pretty much everything. So
yeah, if you want a good Metroidvania,
yeah, that's a fantastic
that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, celebrate the Metroid 30th anniversary with non-Metroid games.
Yes, but with some hot spicy guacamole. And then next Thursday you can get it on
A few Thursdays.
The Axiom Verge. But I played that and I found out that the developers were working on Severed. So I was kind of following along to that. I didn't really like know anything about like what kind of game it was, and then I saw it showed up on the iOS store.
Is it already out on iOS?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it's
Nintendo
like
gets everything late.
Eh,
There's really no comeback to that. They really
No.
do.
yeah.
I think all of these games are outside of Gunvolt 2
Yeah.
already out on their respective platforms. But anyways, yeah, Severed is a first-person dungeon crawler.
Yeah, and like I love that style because it's you. You are the one in the dungeon. It's like you're not some other, like you're not controlling some other person, which is fine. But sometimes it's fun to like feel like you are the one crawling through this dungeon, beating up monsters and growing strong and all
Yeah,
that.
so this looks like a combination of Guacamelee meets like Etrian Odyssey. It's probably the best.
Yeah.
But it has like touch controls for the combat. I don't know exactly how that works.
So just going on like what I've seen and going on the title, I'm guessing there's probably like you can. I think what you can do is as you defeat bosses and enemies and whatnot, you like basically sever parts of them and use them for armor or weapons.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looked like in the trailer for it, but
And that's a neat concept. Is like using your enemies to make yourself stronger. I don't know if there's like if that's like the leveling up system or
Yeah.
if it's
yeah, it might
if
be
there's,
more like Monster Hunter with the like armor is your level rather than like monster armor is your level rather than just grinding away.
Yeah. So like if you can take down the giant boss, then like you can have the mega armor, but it's gonna be like really hard unless you like work up to the good stuff to get there.
And then the final game in their 5 discount, Gunvolt 2, coming out on the 29th.
What?
I didn't play the first one, Azure Striker Gunvolt,
Mm.
but it really reminds me of a, if this is even possible, faster paced like Mega Man Zero or ZX.
Yeah.
I don't know if you played either of those series.
I've played the first one. I've played the demo for Gunvolt, the first one.
did you? Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I liked it. If I had a full copy, I would probably have finished it.
Okay.
I don't know if I would like choose to buy it personally.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy playing it. It feels like there's challenge, but it doesn't feel like it's going to destroy you, and I think that's what I like.
Because the trailers look downright overwhelming. Like I'm having a hard time keeping up with the footage I'm seeing in the trailer, and it's like I'm not sure I can do that stuff. I mean, it's like
Right.
split second stuff. So
Yeah. They're like, I guess there were a couple moments like that in the demo, but mostly it almost feels like you have too much power because there's so many different things you can do.
Yeah, and this one you can play as his rival or something. I don't know. I didn't play the first one, so I do know that the 29th is also the release date for the Azure Striker Gunvolt collection. They're releasing both games on like in a physical copy for 3DS. So I don't know. I might pick that version up if I play either one.
Okay, that would probably be the best way to go into it.
Yeah. So all of those games for their respective weeks are 10% off if you buy them new. Just a little incentive. It probably should have been 20, to be honest, but especially since most of these games are already out on other platforms.
Well, Nintendo has to pay for the advertising
Yeah.
late into summer.
Well, I mean, but they don't have like any other games to advertise, so I feel like the reason they're highlighting all of these indies is really because they have nothing but Color Splash for Wii U, and pretty much just Pokemon for 3DS. So
Yeah. I think what Nintendo might be doing is they're kind of trying to they're trying to whet people's appetite. They know everyone is hungry for the NX.
yeah,
and they're like, well, okay, we got this heaping platter of NX coming for you, but you're gonna have to hold off for a little bit. Here's some appetizers, 10% off some indie stuff.
I can't find the full quote, and I don't have internet here. But there was a recent interview with Reggie Fils-Aimé, the president of Nintendo of America, and he was basically talking about how they need to do better with the NX launch, how they learned from each release and whatnot. This is really, I don't know why this made a bunch of headlines, because they say that every time, and then they give us stuff like Pilot Wings and Steel Diver for launch. So.
Yeah. I think I read a similar article where it's like President of North America says that they need to do better, or that they know that they need to do better for this console's launch.
Yeah, clearly.
We promise that we will do better.
Yeah. I don't. This was on like a ton of different news sites, and I don't really think it should have, because it's pretty clear that they need to.
Yeah.
I mean, the concept of the NX is what's going to sell it, but you need a strong lineup.
Yeah.
And they've missed 2 different launches now, so.
Well, we only have so much time, I guess, before the NX is announced, so maybe we should make it a regular segment until then, to try and figure to come up with what we think the NX is going to be.
I'm calling it though next month. I think we're going to hear about it in September.
Okay, so we have even less time to do this.
Possibly. That gives them 6 months, though, depending on when they do it. So.
Yeah.
And I think they need a good 6 months to generate hype for it.
What if it just shows up in stores? Like, they don't announce it or anything.
Pull a Sega Saturn on it.
It's just for sale.
Yeah. Like some guy just is like walking into a Best Buy and just sees it on the store shelf.
Like it's like with like the Wii U games, and it's like NX, and there's like a couple NX games like around it, and it's like, what did I miss something? And he's checking his phone to like see if like there have been any like new YouTube videos or anything, and it's like there's just nothing. It's just there.
And surprise, the console's called NX.
It's just called NX.
It's like, well, we couldn't really work anything out from that. I mean, the president of Nintendo of Japan said it's just a code name. He doesn't know why it's called NX, so there's literally no reason why it's called NX.
Tell you one thing though, Nintendo's next console is definitely not a xylophone. Get it? Because NX this means not xylophone. It's not that.
Yeah. And then the last news article I wanted to cover, there are 8 more games joining the Nintendo Selects, which are a repackaging of some of their more popular titles that you can get for $20. On 3DS, they're re-releasing Nintendogs plus Cats, which is a weird choice.
I never understood why they had to have so many different... Like, with Pokemon, I get it, why you have different versions of the same game.
And it's not like the 3DS couldn't handle different breeds.
Yeah, why did they have to have so many, like, Nintendogs Pugs Edition, Nintendogs Labrador Edition? Like, why don't you just have all of the dogs in one game, and then you can be the happiest person on earth? It's like, I have so many dogs in my pocket. I could not be happier. Why do you have to... I don't know why I'm so upset about a game I don't even play. But that's how I feel about it.
And I'm interested to see, are they going to re-release all 3 versions, or just like make a best of?
I don't know. The impression I'm getting is that they're just lowering the prices on these games.
Yeah, and putting them in ugly box art. So they're like, there's now like a red velvet.
Oh yeah,
ring around
they shrink down the original artwork, and then
see, I'm a box art guy. I don't throw away any boxes of my games because I really love box art, and that just drives me nuts. So
it also makes storage easier.
Yeah,
because you don't have to try to find a way to display a disc.
Yeah, so I don't know. Most people don't agree with me. Most people just throw out their game boxes, but
I don't get that.
So, anyways, Animal Crossing New Leaf, $20. That's probably the best deal you're gonna find here.
Yeah. Oh, remind me. Go on with that, but because there's some Animal Crossing stuff that I wanted to talk about.
Okay. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, also a fantastic buy. I'm a huge fan of that game, and Charles just kind of likes it.
It's yeah, it's not a bad game.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a weird sequel to the first one. It's not really the same type of game.
See, this is my sticker star. I absolutely adore this game.
Yeah,
And you're like, it's okay. It's not as good.
yeah, I don't remember. Did I mention earlier how I feel about Sticker Star in the podcast?
No, you didn't. But
Okay.
we'll touch on that. We will have a discussion on that at some point.
Yeah, the long and short of it is that I absolutely love Sticker Star, and everybody hates it. And we can go more into that later.
Yeah.
What else do they have?
Weird choice. Tomodachi Life.
I think that is an excellent choice, and I'm glad that is discounted.
Yeah, it is. I never played it, so I might be picking this one up, except for the horrible box art. Maybe I won't be picking it up. Maybe I'll just try and find a...
I just downloaded it, and I will periodically check in and just goof off. I love this game so much.
Yeah.
You have so many different weird people in it.
It's just a weird choice for Nintendo Selects, because I figured they usually did them based off of sales, and I can't imagine this game did well.
Yeah, I love this game. I still play it every so often. I've been thinking about actually starting over.
Huh.
And repopulating it.
Yeah. Anyways, that is 1999.
Yeah,
I don't know when that comes out.
If you get that, let me know what you think about it if you do. And we can talk about that sometime.
Mm-hmm. Lego City Undercover: The Chase Begins, which is the downgraded 3DS version of Lego City Undercover. My personal favorite Lego game of all time on the Wii U. And I didn't play this game because I heard it didn't run well, because Lego City Undercover is a huge open world game. So this also seems like a weird choice. I forgot this game existed. So
it sounds like the sort of thing that would work better if they had released it as a new 3DS exclusive.
yeah, but I mean, it came out in 2013. So
Yeah, maybe if they redid it and utilized some of that extra oomph that the system has.
Yeah.
Which
not many developers are, so...
Yeah, that's the thing. It's one of the biggest things was obviously the C-Stick.
Yeah.
But then there was also that extra the extra graphical and not really necessarily the extra CPU power.
Which doesn't help in most games.
Yeah, well because it has to
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't built to use that, so...
Yeah. So it has to kind of emulate the older games. And I think the only game I know of that actually was exclusive to the new 3DS is Xenoblade Chronicles 3D.
Yeah, and there was a downloadable title. I think it was The Binding of Isaac. Was a new 3DS exclusive, and there's a new one coming up, and I don't remember the name of it, but it's coming to Wii U and randomly new 3DS. So I think that brings it up to 3 exclusives.
Fantastic. I'm so glad I got it. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of it feels I don't know.
I didn't have an XL, so I had double reason to upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
I was still using the original one, so
There's a part of me that kind of wants to get I want to get the smaller ones because it has a customizable faceplates and also because they fit in my pocket better.
yeah. The new 3DS is the largest, most awkward thing to put in your pocket.
Yeah. So I kind of want to trade my XL for the smaller one, but then I would miss the big screen, so I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Probably just hang on to this one.
Moving on to the Wii U selects Lego City Undercover. Excellent game. Now it's $20, so that.
Yeah.
Nintendo Land, randomly.
That's bundled with the system.
It used to be, yeah. Now they haven't bundled it in quite some time, but
I know if you get a refurbished unit, you can get it. You can get the bundle.
yeah. I mean, if you like playing, this is not a good single player game. So if you have a group of friends that you enjoy playing with, there are some fantastic mini games on there. I would say overall it's much better than Wii Sports, but anyways,
probably has better presentation than Wii Sports.
oh yeah, and a lot more complex games too.
Yeah.
And lastly, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker HD. So
Which, even if you didn't get it HD, is a fantastic game in any measure.
she's just agreeing with us.
Yeah, she's like, man, I've played so few games because I haven't been alive for more than a few months.
but in every game that I've played, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD remake is one that I definitely have not played and definitely do endorse. So yeah, I had a couple of things to say about Animal Crossing.
Yes.
So apparently New Leaf is getting an update.
An amiibo update.
I'm excited, but also like kind of skeptical. I'm trying not to be too excited because I'm excited to see like what new stuff they add to the game.
Is it just? I thought it was just amiibos.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. This is just me like hoping. This is me hoping against
okay.
hope for like.
Otherwise, you're gonna have to come over to my house and then just scan them real quick.
Yeah.
And just
like,
leave. Hold on.
yeah,
I just need to.
Yeah, hold on. I just gotta stop by for a couple minutes.
It's like an amiibo drive-through. You just pull up, and I just hand you amiibo out the window.
Hey, thanks. All right, thanks. Bye. Well, I guess see you later. Okay. I'm kind of hoping that they update the room game, like the room building gameplay element, or the decoration element, because I hope they kind of port over what they did with Happy Home Designer.
Did you play that game?
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, okay.
I have a physical copy if you want to borrow it.
Okay. So wait, do you have the amiibo cards?
I have the one amiibo card.
Oh, okay. So you do technically have amiibo.
Yeah, I have a single amiibo.
Yeah.
It is Lottie, the otter. I'm hoping that they bring over the mechanics for like arranging furniture because they made it so much easier.
That's what I heard about it, but I haven't played it to actually find out.
Yeah. So I'm kind of hoping that gets pulled over because then I feel like I could get more into decorating my own house if it weren't so cumbersome to do so.
Yeah.
That's my biggest hope for that update. Regarding the upcoming mobile Animal Crossing, I'm very worried.
See, I'm not very worried because I think what they're going to do is this is going to be a companion app that will let you check in with your town for the NX version. So I'm just calling it maybe first year we see Animal Crossing. It's been quite some time since we've gotten one, so...
That would be really cool. I hadn't thought of that. A couple of scenarios have played out in my head. The first one is that it is a true form Animal Crossing game on a mobile platform, which I think would be perfect because Animal Crossing is just like the best kind of game. It works so well on the 3DS. I think it would work so well on like a mobile device.
Yeah.
That's the best case scenario, I think. The second best would be the companion app. I would be okay with that.
I definitely think that's the route they're going to go. I don't know if they've said anything about it.
The third option is that it becomes Animal Crossing Candy Crush. And you mix and match furniture and bells, and then if you get 3 in a row, then you get a bunch of points. Yippee! And I'm so worried it's just gonna become like a bland cash grab, because Metamo just is so empty, and there's nothing to do.
And it was so funny because you were so positive. Like when it first came out, you were like obsessed with it.
I was so excited for Metamo to come out,
and I was like really negative about it. I was like, I did not think it was going to do well, and it had a really good start, and then it dropped off in probably the fastest time. It's got to be like some record.
I think it was within a month, like. Everyone had stopped.
It was weekly. Like I could check my friend list, and there'd be like one friend each week who just dropped out.
Yeah.
So,
I like every so often I'll think to check in again, and it's just like I don't want to go through the hassle of like listening to what everyone thinks about something. Like what this like so and so thinks that this is their favorite thing. It's like yeah, I guess sure.
Yeah, I really think it needed a fourth pillar. Like, they had the whole question answer as the first, the like Miitomo drop and shopping thing as the second, and then Mi Photos being the
I think
third. And I think it needed like one more thing that was really addictive to stick.
it needed more Tomodachi life.
Yeah.
It needed
Like if you could upgrade and like decorate your apartment, I feel
Yeah.
like just that would be enough.
Yeah, and if you could like maybe check on other players or characters.
Yeah, like choose to go to their house.
Yeah.
And maybe show the outside so it doesn't seem like everyone's living in an underground cubicle with like dark passageways in between houses.
Yeah.
That's just what I imagine when people. I mean, they open the door and there's just blackness in back of them, so.
Yeah. Or like if you could go to someone's house and like you could play a game with them.
Yeah.
Like if you're both on at the same time, then you can like play a little game. Then maybe you could win some game tickets or at least some candy, which I guess you can
Yeah.
now use to earn game tickets.
Yeah, or ticket stubs. You can collect 10 of those to get one game ticket.
Yeah. So something like that. Just some kind of game element to make you keep you coming back.
Yeah.
Other than just like the drop. The strongest feature for me ended up being like Mi Photo, and I made so many stupid photos.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite part of the Mi Photos were the glitches that occurred. They've since patched it, but some people, like, you could see through the back of their head.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah,
that.
I have 3 of them like that, and I have kept them. And I've tried to go back and, like, edit them, but every time you go in to edit them, it fixes it. So they have since patched that, but that was, like, the best part.
You'll have to send those to me. I want to
Yeah.
see those. And then Pokemon Go is not a game. I know it's you corrected me on this, that it's not technically like Nintendo, it's a Pokemon company.
It's Niantic through the Pokemon Company through Nintendo. So Nintendo, I think, gets like 13% of the profits from this. So the only thing they have to do with this game is they're making the Poke Plus wristband things.
Mhm.
Like Nintendo is actually manufacturing those themselves, but the rest of the game was developed by Niantic. So
And I don't think they're doing a very good job.
yeah, so I've put in a total of about 6 minutes into Pokemon Go. So you're really the one to talk about this.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of news stories about it that I just glossed over because I don't really want to cover them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are people being killed or lured into unsafe situations.
Yeah.
People wandering out into traffic and then blaming the game. It's you probably shouldn't have been looking at your phone.
Yeah.
But,
And it has, you can tell that it's already dropped off quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's still pretty strong, but
But I mean, it's such a great concept, but there's just no game.
yeah, the battles, like the gym battles themselves, just tapping stuff. I mean, truly, for a video game, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. The concept is what gets people playing it.
Mhm.
Like the concept is amazing. It's just tied to a terrible game. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, there have been quite a few people who, there's communities growing for this game. So, I don't know.
I mean, a lot of good stuff has happened, but for me personally, it's not my thing. I don't want to hate on people who are legitimately enjoying it.
Oh
because
yeah, definitely.
It's great. It's so good that all these nice things are happening because of it. People are getting together and having a good time.
Which you don't really hear about. You hear about all the negative stories about it. But
Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff happening. I don't like to harsh on it too much, but at the same time, I'm a little disappointed in it. It's not the experience that I was looking forward to.
Yeah. All right, so we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on mobile?
I'm glad that Nintendo is finally releasing stuff for mobile.
Yeah.
I hope that they do better than Miitomo.
Yeah, I feel like this pause between Miitomo and Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing is probably... it might even have something to do with the success of Pokemon Go that they might be rethinking. I hope not, because I really just want more grounded experiences rather than AR, but...
Yeah. Well, I just hope that there's more of a gaming element to both of them. I don't really know. I think Fire Emblem would be great for mobile. So I'm.
See, I disagree with that, but that'll be a different topic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was our show. Yeah, this was a really really unprofessional podcast, but
we'll get the hang of this as we go. But yeah, that's the first episode, and thank you for listening.
yeah, and be sure to check out the DC Film Freaks website. If you're into movies and TV, lots of great stuff there.
Yes, I'm Charles Fillmore,
I'm Zach Tussing.
and this has been
Whatever this is, come up with a name real quick.
the Quadratics Podcast Experience. We'll have a better one, probably.
Maybe.